وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كفروا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منهم فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردوك إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا فضلوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Can we have another loud salawat for Brother Ashfaq for that beautiful recitation of Quran? Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Just kind of going over the same announcements that were kind of made earlier for those who weren't here. The program for this weekend has changed a little bit. We're starting with namaz at 6:45, followed by Ziyad Ashura at 7:15, and then starting with the speech at 8 o'clock, and then dinner will be following that, inshallah. This weekend we are blessed to have Moulana Baig here with us from the Imam Ali Seminary in LA. Please help me invite him up with a loud salawat. Can I also ask, please, if everyone can kind of move forward, people in the back or on the side, if you guys can come closer. There's not a lot of us here, inshallah, but please, we can make this a good environment. And for people that come later who also feel they'll need to come up, inshallah. Thank you. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Please recite a Surah Fatiha for all the Mahrumeen and Shahada. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللئيم الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفدا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Art is a subject, one of those subjects that we see a huge disparity that exists in the way that Islam views it and in the way that Muslims view it. The subject of art and how that is perceived in Islam and how Allah views it is drastically different than how we actually take art. When we speak about art or when we speak of art, people, yes, they praise art and they like to tell others that they're artistic, but when they're asked to learn art, they shun away from it. In fact, if someone is doing their major in art, then usually what happens is that that person is too embarrassed to tell anyone in the community that he's doing art. Because if he tells anyone he's doing art, he gets two things: free advice and a small lecture. And usually what happens is that this person, even if he's doing art or he has artistic tendencies, stays away from the subject because of the fact that we as a people do not appreciate it or we don't give value to it, and maybe because there is no financial security behind learning it. Because those who are art major usually end up working as teachers, or for example they are found in downtown area, on the streets painting cans. So usually what happens is that art is looked down upon in our community, which really goes after more financially secure majors or learning or knowledges that deal with probably more concrete things. But here I want to speak about art. And you might be asking, why am I speaking about art in Muharram? Well, that's exactly why I want to speak about art for. Because it's so much related to Muharram. It is so much related to Imam Hussein. And this is why the idea of art and how, first of all, how Islam views art and what is the view of Allah in regards to art and how we need to be not only learning it, but emphasizing it in our community, not because it is a knowledge, but it is crucial to our faith. If we want our faith to continue, and if we want our children to be Muslim, then you would be surprised that the way for your children to be safe is only through art. If art is absent in our people and in our learning and in how we view things, you will see that it is next to impossible to raise the next generation equal to us or better than us. Forget about us being with Imam Hussein. We can't even get close to Imam Hussein if we are not artistic. And you might be wondering, wow, where is this coming from? But that's what I want to discuss in these 3 days that I'm with you. So that this understanding can be there, and hopefully it will enlighten us and make our appreciation for this knowledge better and our understanding of our deen stronger when we speak about art. So that is a subject that we are going to be talking about in the next 3 days. But now, inshallah, we are going to start off the subject with a small prelude I will give of another subject that becomes a preliminary to another subject, to this subject which will help us to understand art, and that is the subject of beauty. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now friends, understand this. Allah is beautiful. That is one of His names. Al-Jamil means beautiful. This is one of Allah's names. Not a name that has been given to Him by people, but a name that He refers to Himself in the Quran and addresses Himself as, just like He addresses Himself as Rahman, Rahim, Khalik, Razik, Hay, Qayyum, all of these names, the same way Al-Jamil, meaning beautiful, is Allah's name. In other words, Allah in essence is beautiful. He is the height of beauty, the pinnacle of beauty and attraction. And hence, when Allah is beautiful, everything that comes from Allah is beautiful, and everything that goes to Allah is beautiful. Understand how important this is and what this means for us. If we see that Allah is beautiful, do you think that Allah will give us something that is not beautiful, that is ugly, that is detestful, that is unpleasant, unattractive? Because Allah has put beauty in our nature. Every name of Allah is in our nature, in our fitrat, in our essence. If you look at it, you are naturally inclined to mercy. You are not inclined to rudeness. As a person, a normal person, you like people who are forgiving and merciful. You don't like people who are rude and unforgiving. It's detestful for you. When you see someone who does not forgive, when you see someone who goes beyond and harms someone in a very cruel manner, it becomes detestful for you. You don't like that. Naturally, you don't like it. Just like that, when you actually see yourself, and when you look at yourself, you see you like mercy. Why? Because you naturally, in yourself, Allah has instilled this quality inside of you, and wherever you see that quality, you are attracted by it. You are naturally inclined towards knowledge, towards ilm, not towards ignorance. If you see a person who doesn't know, or a person who's ignorant, you're not attracted by him. You don't say, wow, this guy doesn't know anything, man, he's so great. It doesn't work like that. In fact, if you say such a statement, you'll sound either completely crazy or like Donald Trump. So what happens is that when you look at someone who's ignorant, you are not attracted by that. It's detestful for you. But when you look at someone who's knowledgeable, who does answer your question, and who does satisfy your thirst for knowledge, you feel attracted, you feel pleasant, you feel good about it. And hence you see naturally Allah has instilled in you every quality that He has put it in you, that you through that quality can find Allah and find those means which will make you reach Allah. Now when we look at that, you will see that one of those things that Allah has instilled in you is the sense of beauty, is the liking for beauty. You like things that make you beautiful. You want to be beautiful. You don't like to be ugly. And hence you take care in order for you to be beautiful. Because Allah has made it such that He can, through this quality, pull you towards Him. So now my friends, if that is understood by you, now let me just go on and just read this ayat for you, which will now explain where we are going to go next. When we look at beauty, the idea of beauty, it is in our nature, in our fitrat, that we are attracted to beauty. And hence, if Allah wants to pull us towards Him, then He needs to make whatever He's giving us beautiful. If He doesn't make it beautiful, then naturally we detest it and we run away from it. So now when Allah sends something to get you to come to Him, it must be beautiful. It must be attractive. And so this is the ayat of the Quran where Allah now speaks about faith and Allah speaks about Islam as a religion. Allah says, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. He says, but that Allah has made faith endearing to you. He has made it attractive to you. He has made Iman and Islam pleasant for you, attractive, appealing, beautiful. وَزَيَّنَّاهَا فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And He has made it attractive in your hearts. He has made it attractive in your hearts. In other words, what is this, my friend? Islam is beautiful. Allah is saying that Islam is beautiful. And when Islam comes to you, it must appeal to your sense of beauty. And hence, when you are attracted, you are naturally attracted by it. The common mind, the common man, when he sees Islam, when he sees Allah's deen, and this is Allah's promise, and Allah is making this declaration in the Quran, that my deen and my religion is beautiful. In other words, my message is beautiful. So when it comes to you, it will attract you, and it will appeal to your sense of beauty. So now, whenever Islam comes to us, whenever the message of Islam comes to us, it has to be beautiful. It has to be attractive. It has to be appealing. If it's not appealing, if it's not attractive, if it doesn't appeal to your sense of beauty, then it can be anything else, but it is not Islam. It could be anything else, but it's not Islam. So if someone brings something that is logical, that is sensible, that is rational, but it's not beautiful, it's not Islam. If someone brings to you an argument and a message that makes sense, wow, it makes sense, but it's not attractive, it doesn't appeal to my sense of beauty, then it could be cousin, mother-in-law, but it cannot be Islam. It can't be Islam. My friends, you understand that what Allah is saying in the Quran? Allah is saying that Islam is beautiful. When it comes to you, it has to be beautiful. It has to be attractive to you. If someone is giving you an Islam or saying that this is Islam, but it doesn't sound attractive, it doesn't sound appealing, then what happens? You just have to look at that and say, I need to do some more research on this because Islam has to be attractive. That's what Allah says in the Quran. And this, what you're saying, does make sense, but it's not attractive, and hence I can't accept it as Islam. You see what that means? My friends, Islam, all of it is beautiful. Islam, all of it is attractive. And hence, whenever we want to look for Islam, whenever we want to look for faith, faith has to be attractive, it has to be appealing, it has to be beautiful. See what Allah is trying. Now, when we look at how Allah is saying that, from here now we can start to go forward. So now I'm looking for Islam, and now I know that Islam has to be beautiful. It has to appeal to my sense of beauty. Yes, there are those people, for example, who have corrupted their quality or their sense of beauty. And they find many unattractive things as attractive. Now, are we going to go by what they say? No, the fact is that this is by the common mind, by the people. Just normal people, when they see something as beautiful, it has to be there. That it is, wow, yes, acceptable. It's agreeable. It is good. It's a good thing. It appeals to my basic instinct of good nature. That, wow, this is good. And hence Islam is that. If something comes from Islam and someone says that this is Islam and this is the message of Allah, or Rasulullah comes and says that this is the messenger of Allah, but he's not attractive, then that's a problem. So Allah, you declared Islam is beautiful, so everything that must come from you is beautiful and must appeal to our sense of beauty. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A lot of the times what happens, my friends, is this, right? You know, if we take Islam as beautiful, and if we understood Islam as beautiful, and if we accepted that Islam which is beautiful, then Islam becomes vibrant, dynamic, energizing. People who understand Islam through beauty are energized. They're always high-spirited. They're always walking around as if they are over-caffeinated. Right? I mean, completely wired up. Right? I mean, you know, they just drank the chai that you get at Saba. Right? That will keep you awake even through a 1-hour speech. The fact is that when you have someone, when you get Islam and you understand Islam through the sense of beauty, then you see that Islam is like that. Now, if you see, for example, people are like, you know, in the masjid, and, you know, they are as exciting as someone who has just lost his job, you know. You meet them, and whatever fate that you came with to the masjid now goes with them. Right? It's like, brother, why aren't you happy? Why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you doing this? And this is what happens. People, you know, why are they so down? Why are they so low energy when it comes to Islam, when it comes to their deen and their religion? Because, my friends, understand, this one of the secrets behind it is that they accepted Islam through logic and reasoning. They haven't accepted Islam through their sense of beauty. They haven't accepted Islam through their sense of beauty. They accepted Islam through logic and reasoning. Yeah, it makes sense, it makes sense. Okay, things that make sense aren't always attractive. Things that make sense aren't always, you know, energizing. Okay, it's, you know, wow, it's great, man. You know, I mean, I'd love to know that theory, you know, but it really doesn't excite me. You know, it really doesn't excite me. You know, I need you to give me something that excites me first. My friends, the logic and sense of Islam come later. It's the beauty that comes first. And this is where we need to now ponder over. Why is Allah saying that He has made Iman attractive? He didn't say He made Iman logical. He didn't say He made Islam sensible and rational. He said He made Islam attractive, appealing, and beautiful. Let's look at this. What is going on here? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Usually what happens is that we gained Islam, a lot of us, I'm saying about the youth now, because in the English world, they have the culture of reading. You know, in other cultures, they don't read a lot of books, but in the English world, we see our people read a lot of books, you know. They go online, they read up on things, you know. They read different books that are written by great ulama and scholars and this and that. And the reason they lost that energy and they lost that oomph in their religion and in their practice of their religion is because they read those books. Right? And we think, and you know, obviously our logic was like, hey, I want to go to the best alim who has written books on Islam so I can learn my religion through them. Now, what they don't understand is this, that this alim, this ayatollah has written a certain book to answer a criticism or a question or a doubt of some scholar who's trying to put down Islam, or trying to question Islam, or trying to make Islam look demeaning. And hence he takes an issue and he writes that book to answer the doubt of that scholar who wrote that book. Now tell me, you as a believer and you as a mu'min, why are you reading a book that is meant for that guy who hates Islam? Yes, an Ayatollah wrote it, but the Ayatollah wrote it for him, to answer him. That guy needs to understand what Islam is. That guy needs an answer or a issue that will help his doubt be cleared. But do you have a doubt? No, you don't. Do you have questions about Islam? No, you don't. You are not trying to protect Islam or defend Islam. You are trying to consume Islam. You are trying to practice Islam. You see, so the Islam that has to be given to you is different than the Islam that is given to that heretic who this Ayatollah is writing this book for. So we read the books, for example, of Ayatollah Mutahhari or other Ayatollahs who wrote these books for those people, thinking that this is going to energize us, but it takes all the air out of us and we're like, it's really not attractive. Of course it's not attractive because it's not meant for you. The deen that has to come to you is different than the deen that has to go to them. That Ayatollah is trying to defend Islam and the principles of Islam and the knowledge of Islam in the eyes of those people. You are trying to take Islam, practice it, live it, and make it a part of your life. So the way it has to be given to you is different than the way it has to be given to others. And this is why we see that books that are meant for mu'mineen are different. Books that are meant for mu'mineen are different. When urafa and ulama write books for mu'mineen, you see their manner of writing and their delivery is completely different than the people that they are writing for to answer other questions. And this is why a lot of us, when we learn Islam, we learn it from these books, and then all of a sudden we all become dry, and our Islam becomes dry. And there's no excitement, there's no that fervor, that passion that should be there. And why? Because we need to go and learn Islam. Our Islam is completely different, my friends. The way that we should be served Islam is completely different. And that's why when you look at Ahlul Bayt, when they spoke to us, when they answered us, when they spoke to believers, the way that they gave Islam was different. It was different. Just in the attitude and how you give it, how it comes forward, it's like completely different. Wow, look at that. Not only does it make sense, that's not the important thing, but you're like, wow, he did that? Amazing. It's attractive. It's something that arouses passions in you. And this is what we need to see. Look, for example, how Ibrahim dealt with the issue of idol worship. When you see Ibrahim deal with the issue of idol worship, these people had gone. Now Ibrahim, he made a plan. He said, okay, I don't like idols and this and that, right? So if he didn't like idols, he should have broken all of them. He should have broken all of them and said, no more idols to worship. But he knew that they will make more. He knew that they will make more. You know how Ibrahim approached it? He says, no, I don't want to break the idols. I want to break the ideas and thoughts that have built these idols. That's what I want to break. That's the reason he did not break the big one. Because he wanted to destroy the reason that these idols were made. Because if he can destroy that reason in their hearts and their minds, then they won't make those idols anymore. But if you break all the idols, they'll make all those idols right back up again. Yeah, in those days they didn't have super glue and crazy glue, but they did have rice and other stuff that they would use. And they'll make it and they'll mend it back together again. And they'll see that our God has, come back from the injuries that he has suffered. But the idea is still there. You see Ibrahim, how beautifully he dealt with it. He came forward and he said, listen, I don't want to break the idols. I just want to break the idea in their mind. I want to break that idea that they have in their mind so that when they come back, that can be shattered. And that's why he left the big one there. He says, hey, who broke the idols? Oh, Ibrahim says, ask the big one. And ask that guy, the big one there. So he said, well, what are you talking about? How can we ask him? He can't talk. My point exactly. Right? And that's it. He just wanted them to think about it. That's the idea, my friends. How do you approach things? How Islam is given to people has to be attractive. When, for example, let me give another example. You send a salawats. Have you ever seen how a subject like Nabuwat is taught in our schools, Islamic schools or Sunday schools? Nabuwat is, prophethood, is such an exciting subject. It is such a subject that will, arouse passions in you and you go crazy and you just become like feverish thinking about it. And the way that they teach it in our schools, some of these books and all these things I've read, when they teach that, it takes whatever energy that Nabuwat has is taken away from it. You take the fun out of the party. Just make it dry. Nabuwat is Allah sent 124,000 prophets. What? And they came to guide mankind. And yes, and when you go about it, and the last messenger was the prophet. And he became a prophet when he became 40. This is exactly the speech, kid you not, a great Ayatollah gave to a group of Western kids when they came there. And everyone was excited to hear a deep philosophical speech by this great Ayatollah who came to give a speech. And he's like saying this: the prophet became a prophet when he was 40. And the kids were like, they're not kids, young adults, right? They were like waiting for the exciting, the punch to come, the punchline, the deep stuff. They were going to dive in the deep and this and that. It never came. It ended at 40 years. And then you wonder, what happened here? And this is exactly how religion is being given, and it becomes so dry. But now when we look at how Imam Ali gives Nabuwat, and he teaches Nabuwat, one-liner, Imam Ali just gives, and you know what? Boom, you just like, wow. Nothing like that. Just one line. You know how he approaches it? He starts it off. He doesn't say Allah sent prophet, this and that. No. You know what the prophet, how Imam Ali introduces the prophet? He says, of all the messengers Allah sent, no one came from Allah, and no one brought the message from Allah like Prophet Muhammad did. And then a person is left like fantasizing, wow, he is unique. He is unique. No one is like him. And that's what leads to magnificence and making it attractive in your heart. You see how he pulls you into that? And then you feel like, wow, I'm so glad that I'm his follower. No one is like him. Did you hear that? No one is like him. He is alone up there at the pinnacle. See, just like that, my friends. That's how deen is given to mu'mineen. So, my friends, beauty is a part of Islam. Is beautiful. Whatever Allah sends is beautiful. And if Islam that has reached you is not beautiful, then it's not Islam. You have to go back and relearn it to make sure that what you're learning is beautiful and attractive to you. Otherwise, you will never have the spirit and the high spirit to always go forward. Now let me explain to you about a little bit about beauty. I'll give some examples, and that's it for today. I said an introduction today, and inshallah next 2 days I will go into it, because we want to reach the subject of art. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, beauty, my friends, beauty in religion, beauty in Islam. How important this is, this and that. Let me explain it to you from the point of view of haters. Yes, people who hate Islam and who work against it. You know, who have proven to work against it, and they actually made plans and plots against Islam. I'm talking about none other than the good old British. You know, who, as you know, the nemesis of, you know, the Muslim world for centuries. Right? These guys were always there. You know, you can always count on them to be your enemy. Right? And they were always there for you. Whenever you needed an enemy, they're like always present. Here we are. And, you know, and we love to play with you. And this is how these guys were for centuries. And they did a lot of research on Muslims. And they wrote a lot of guidelines and books on how to distract, misguide, and destroy Islam. How do you do that? I'm just going to read some of their recommendations. Some of the recommendations that they wrote in their guidelines as to how we can weaken the Muslims and eventually eradicate Islam. My friends, look at this. Understand this. You know how it works? It's like this. First recommendation that they give. When you read their books that they have written, that have been published now recently, many of them have been published, all these papers have been published. So now you can read them, and in that they have written down, one of the top recommendation that they give in everything is that they say that the religious places, the same places that you go for ziyarat, Najaf, Karbala, Mashhad, all these places that you go for ziyarat, right? Their first recommendation of the British in order to weaken you and to weaken Islam is that they said, try in whatever fashion you can to keep these places ugly. Make them ugly and dirty. Because when these people come here, they become rejuvenated. They become recharged. If they see unorganized, dirtiness, chaos, disgusting environment, then it will take away from the effect that they are going to get from there. Who are saying this? The people who want to weaken you are recognizing that making your holy places, Karbala and Najaf, dirty and unorganized and chaotic is a way to weaken you and to weaken Islam. Understand this. The importance of beauty. Really, the importance of beauty. You know? How important it is for us to really, even in the centers that you go to. My friends, you don't, alhamdulillah, you all have a very, one of the big centers, right, in America, so, and a lavish center, and you have all these things, right? But many centers don't. And I tell them that, listen, you don't need to be like Saba. You have that big building and all these things. But with whatever you have, are you keeping those things beautiful? Are you keeping those things clean and organized and nice? Because the issue is not about how much you have, it's how you maintain it. It's so important for us to do that. This is what it does, is that it creates a vibrancy in us. Whenever people see dirt or something unorganized, they lose heart. This is an experiment they did in New York. In some neighborhoods where the windows were broken and all these things, they say, okay, you know what, let's do this. Let's go to the homes and offer to build their windows, just their windows. They said they built the windows of a certain neighborhood just to do a social experiment. Windows so that the neighborhood can start looking better. When the neighborhood start looking better, the people of that neighborhood start feeling better. Crime rate went down. All because of what? Just because the neighborhood was cleaned up. My friends, cleanliness has such a huge effect on a society. Because we are appealed to the sense of beauty. Our sense of beauty is natural in us. If something is not beautiful, we are detesting it. We stay away from it. We don't like it, even though we have to come to it. You know, it's like most wives coming to their husbands. Right? They do come because it's wajib, but if you ask them, would you, they might give a whole different view. Right? Because the fact is that, a lot of people don't keep up, don't wait, make themselves look good. Why? I don't know. It goes against our nature. But this is one of the ways that our enemies weaken us. First recommendation they give. Second recommendation that they gave in order to weaken Muslims. I mean, here they're talking about Shias now, specifically Shias. They said, you know what? Their strength, one of their strength, other than their holy places, one of the other strength that they have is their ulama. Is their ulama. And in the ulama, there are three things that attract people to come towards them back again and again. These are people who were looking at the situation objectively and wrote it down to see what attracts people to ulama. And this is being written in the 17 and 1800s. So I'm talking about the ulama of that time, not this time. Right? And in that time, they're writing that there are three things that make the people come back to ulama again and again. If we can take those three things away from the ulama and scholars, then people will stop coming to them. People will stop having a relationship with them and like a strong link with them. So what is those things? Knowledge? No, not knowledge. Knowledge is not one of them. Three things, my friends, they mentioned that. Let me mention this for you. He says, there are three things that their ulama have that other ulama don't have. What is that? They always smile. Their ulama are always smiling. Whenever you see them, they smile. Their smile is what pulls the people towards them. Number one. Understand this. Smiling. Right? You see, whenever you go to any store, if the person who's behind the register is frowning, you'll be like, is there another one? Open? I don't want to deal with that. Right? Simple. It's simple human psychology. Smile is so important. Right? And it's one of the signs of a mu'min that he's always smiling. He's always expressing his happiness. You see that? That's one thing. So now what happens? You're smiling. Number two, they said, the second thing that ulama do, they are always well-dressed. Always well-dressed. They're always looking good. Wow, looking good. Third thing about them, about ulama, what is that? Cleanliness. They're always clean. They always have some sort of itr on. This and that. I mean, just three things. He says, if we can take these three things away from ulama, people will stop coming towards them. People will go away from them, get away from them, and that's how we can weaken them. We can't take their knowledge away, but we can take these things away from them. And that's exactly what happens, my friends. Now what happens is that when you go and, for example, even try to get close to an alim to ask a question, you see that itself is a major test. Right? Just to even get close to someone that you can ask him a question without being condemned, looked down upon, made fun of, being ridiculed in public, off the mimbar or somewhere else, or become the butt of a joke everywhere on YouTube. And then you're like, wow, you know what? It's better that I don't ask. And thank God for the internet. If it wasn't for that fact that we can ask anonymously, no one would be learning anything nowadays. And this is usually how it works, my friends. Subhanallah, this is our enemy trying to tell us how important cleanliness is and beauty is in Islam. And if you can take that away from them, then they will lose their sense of pride, they'll lose that passion that they have, and they will soon start to fizzle away. My friends, how much do we spend and pay attention to these things, to beauty? How much do we do that? And this is, well, again, I said, right, I'm going to now stop the speech here, I'll explain this tomorrow, all right? Because already like 45 minutes. I don't know if you realized it or not, but it's over 45 minutes. I don't want to go on longer because then we want to say, he takes like over an hour, Usually that what happens. But the sense of beauty leading to the idea of art is our discussion. What is beauty and how important it is in Islam? And how crucial it is in Islam? You will see that for us, especially here in America, it is the most important thing to understand and to learn in terms of our faith. Right? More than anything else. If we as a people are not focusing on that and emphasizing that to ourselves and our children, we are going to lose it in the next generation, no matter how many Islamic classes you have, no matter how many Islamic schools you have. It doesn't matter. Because really, the way of giving it forward is completely different than what we are assuming it to be. And this is why I want to add this element to our knowledge so that we can improve whatever we are doing to the next level. Right? And really make it effective and better. My friends, beauty is in our sense. And it's natural to us. Allah made Islam beautiful. Allah made Islam. Whatever came down as Islam is beautiful. When we have that sense of beauty in us and when we can recognize beauty, then we recognize it when it happens before us. That's why the person who wasn't an artist never understood beauty. And the person who was artistic understood beauty. Really. If you don't know what art is, you will never understand what beauty is. And if you can't understand what beauty is, you can never understand what Karbala is. Because Karbala was beautiful. Karbala was beautiful, my friends. And this is the declaration. A declaration, not just a mere emotional rant, but a honest, well thought of declaration of someone who needs no introduction or needs no teacher. These are the words of Hazrat Zainab. She said that. Zainab Salamullah alayhi, when we heard her, when Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, when he commented in front of these people, when he commented and said that, you know what, Allah has done bad with you all. Look at the way that He has killed your relatives. It's ugly. Ugly how they died. It's ugly how they died. Allah was angry at you, at your brother, at your family. Otherwise He wouldn't have killed you this way. Truly, it was ugly, the way that you were dealt with. You know, when Zainab heard that, her statement that came out, just one statement, one sentence, she said, "What are you talking about, Ibn Ziyad? What are you talking about? Where are you?" He says, "Ma ra'aytu illa jamila." I did not see anything but a beautiful masterpiece that was etched and painted in Karbala. That's what I saw. Friends, when a person understands beauty, they can appreciate art. And Karbala was artistic. If a person understands Karbala that way, then it will be so many layers deeper he goes in his love for Imam Hussein. Because that's the way Zainab understood it. And this is why when we really look at this, and when we see this, how it happens. Everything in Karbala, you see, everything in Karbala was beautiful. You know, the way that Allah played the role of Abbas. Hazrat Abbas was amazing. You know, when you look at Abbas, he's not someone who's simple. Abbas's rank and position, right? When you look at his rank and position, who he is, you know, can be understood by what our Imam has said. His nephew, Imam Sajjad, said this about Abbas. When people said, who was Abbas? You know, who was Abbas? What was Abbas? So Imam Sajjad says, Inna ammi al-Abbas darajatan indallah. He says, my uncle Abbas has a rank with Allah. يَغْبِتُونَ أَوَّلُونَ وَالْآخِرُونَ. He says that the first and the ranks, the last, all the prophets, all the Anbiya will look up to Abbas and will envy him. And will say, look at the position Abbas has. Look at how high he is. Look at how great he is. This is who Abbas is. You want to know who Abbas is? What he meant for Hussein? Because some people think that, you know what? Unfortunately, you know, some people don't understand what Karbala is, and they don't understand the depths of Karbala, and that's why, you know, some people might get to that level where they start to, you know, equate themselves to Abbas or someone like that, saying that, well, he's not Masoom, you know, or he's not this, or he's not that. And really, such people, you know, who have such a shallow understanding of Deen and have no clue who Abbas is, what Abbas is, should look a little bit deeper as to what Abbas meant for Imam Hussein. What Abbas meant for Imam Hussein, they need to understand that. You hear this sentence all the time, my friends. You hear this sentence all the time, right? That when Imam Hussein said, when Abbas died, or was dying, when Imam Hussein came to his place where he was dying, and he saw Abbas in that situation that Abbas was in, with his hands cut, and he knew that Abbas is dying, he held himself, Imam Hussein held his back, and said, Alan in qasara dhahari. He says, Abbas, my back has been broken. Wa qillata hilati, and I have run out of options. Now I have no options now, Abbas. You were my option. You gave options to me. I have no options. I don't know. Now we hear this all the time. But you know, I want you to understand how deep this goes, right? Let me give you another riwayat by which you can understand how deep this riwayat goes. And then you might be able to truly appreciate Abbas. Truly understand who Abbas is, right? My friends, it is said that when our Imam will come back, it is said that there will be millions of Shia mu'mineen who will come to support him. Imagine that. Millions, they will come. They will be all around him. Not the first time, but you know, when everyone gathers together, there will be millions. And you can imagine that. Just go to Arba'in, and you see how many millions of people there are, and imagine that Imam Zamana is standing in the middle of all of that. Imagine that, and everyone is saying Labbaik and Labbaik. Do you see that? Imagine how the Imam, really, wouldn't he feel happy to know that, Alhamdulillah, there are millions of mu'mineen who are here. All of them to support me. I wish my grandfather Hussein had all of these people. I mean, we would wish that Imam Zamana would say, where were you when my grandfather was alone? I'm so glad that you're here, and all these things, right? But really, when Imam Zamana will come, it is said that millions of mu'mineen will stand around him. All of these mu'mineen will stand around him, and they will all be saying, Labbaik, Labbaik, Labbaik. And as they're saying, Labbaik, 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 everyone is saying that, Imam Zamana will look at them. And these will be mu'mineen from all over the world, it says. Every corner of the world, they will bring the alam, the raya, the flag of Abbas with them, and they will stand there, and they will be saying, Labbaik ya Mahdi, Labbaik ya Mahdi. And they will be saying that, and all of them will be there. And as all of them are going to stand there, Imam Zamana will look in the crowd as if he is looking for someone. He'll look to the right, he'll look to the left, he'll look all around to see, is there anyone here? Someone's missing, someone's missing. And everyone will look at the Imam and say, Imam, we're all here for you, ready to give our lives. Our necks are for you. We are ready to give our life for you. What is missing? No, he says something is missing. He said, what is missing? Aren't we all enough for you? Aren't we all, millions of us, enough for you? Imam Zamana at that moment will say, no, someone is missing. He says, who is missing? He says, Abul Fadl al-Abbas is missing. He says, Abul Fadl al-Abbas is missing. When we will hear, all of us, it is said, when all of us, millions of us, will hear the name of Abul Fazl Abbas, we will put down our head in shame, and we will all admit at that time that Imam, all of us put together are not equal to one Abbas. All of us put together are not equal to one Abbas. All of us are here to support you, and you still feel something is missing. And Hussein had one Abbas, but Hussein never saw anything missing. My friends, imagine how much Abbas meant for Imam Hussein. Now you can imagine when Hussein came up to Abbas and saw Abbas in that situation. He says, Abbas, Alanin kathara dhahri. My back has been broken. My back has been broken. Now you understand what it means. Abbas meant so much for Hussein. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون يا محمود بحق محمد يا الله بحق علي يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة يا محسن بحق حسن يا قديم الإحسان بحق حسين. Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us his helper when he comes. Allah, increase the love of Ahlul Bayt in our hearts and the hearts of our children. Oh Allah, keep our feet firm on the path of Islam. Wa akhir da'wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ya Hussein.
Abbas, Ya Abbas, you're the bravest of us. Abbas, Ya Abbas, you're the bravest of us. You're a reminder that Ali is above us. As he's daring to bring water, they're preparing his slaughter. As he's daring to bring water, they're preparing his slaughter. Oh, flag bearer, where's your hand? Is it bleeding on the sand? Oh, flag bearer, where's your hand? Is it bleeding on the sand? Will Sakina understand? You were loyal to her command. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weeper. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believer. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believer. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Ya Allah, Ya Mawla, run to me before I die. Ya Allah, Ya Mawla, run to me before I die. Oh my uncle, there's my blood. Let me see you one last time. As I'm leaving, going further, I'm seeing your murder. As I'm leaving, going further, I'm seeing your murder. I'm a martyr sliced for you, to be sacrificed for you. I'm a martyr sliced for you, to be sacrificed for you. Oh, there will be peace for you when no one remains for you. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. What a pain, Ya Hussein, while we die upon display. What a pain, Ya Hussein, while we die upon display. Where's Muhammad? Where's Qasim? Your soldiers so young been slain. All the loved ones that you've carried, all the young ones you've buried, all the loved ones that you've carried, all the young ones you've buried. Now you witness all your sons swear to you by the Quran. Now you've witnessed all your sons swear to you by the Quran. We will serve you on and on. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein John. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believer. Hussein, Hussein. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Zainab's in Karbala crying in pain. Oh my dear brother, where are you, Hussein? Zainab's in Karbala crying in pain. Oh my dear brother, where are you, Hussein? Oh my Hussein, 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 oh my Hussein. After the bloodshed and after the worst, after her sons would lay cut up in thirst, after they dragged her without all her clothes, for months in a prison her husband now knows. Oh my dear wife, you were so young, your hair is now white. Husband of mine, your Zainab has has seen the worst day inside. Oh my Hussein, 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 oh my Hussein. We are the prophets of family and blood, the ship of salvation when lost in the flood. Our doorsteps were known by you beggars the most. Is this how you treat us, the heavenly host? If you will leave and want to do wrong, then we are the ones. Leave us till death, but Hassan and he are prophet's own sons. Oh my Hussein, 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 riding on horseback to make his last stand. Abbas came bravely with water in hand, riding on horseback to make his last stand. Abbas came bravely with water in hand. Soldiers surrounded him, soon he would fall. Stabbing and butchering, we saw it all. With tears in eyes for his Abbas, the Sayyid came there. With tears in his eyes for his Abbas, the Sayyid came there. Oh my Mawla, if I had more would I spare. Oh my Hussein, oh my Hussein, oh my God. Should I finish? Oh my Hussein, oh my Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Abbas mera mar gaya Zainab, Zainab, Abbas mera mar gaya Zainab, Zainab. شبیر دیتے تھے صدا زینب، زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، برپا کرو بہنا آزا، برپا کرو بہنا آزا، بھائی ہوا ہم سے جدا، ہم ہو گئے بے آسرا، کو ہے مصیبت گر پڑا زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، بازو ہوئے اس کے قلم، بازو ہوئے اس کے قلم، کیسا ہوا ہے یہ ستم، تنہا ہوئے غربت میں ہم ماتم، کرو زیر عالم زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، آتا علم کو دیکھ کر، آتا علم کو دیکھ کر پوچھا چچا کو تھا مگر در پہ ہے ان کی منتظر، اس کو نہ ہو اس کی خبر زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، عباس میرا مر گیا زینب، زینب، تنہا ہمیں اب جان کر، تنہا ہمیں اب جان کر کیا کچھ کریں گے اہل شہر برباد ہوگا گھر کا گھر کٹ جائے گا اب میرا سر زینب عباس میرا مر گیا زینب زینب عباس میرا مر گیا زینب زینب یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس.
السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا حبیب اللہ یا خیر خلق اللہ ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبكي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا إمام وإمام إنس والجان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن يا مظهر الإيمان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم جميع المعصومين ورحمة الله وبركاته.